on, everyone? We have a two-game NBA slate for tonight, so I'm going to break it down best I can. Not a ton to talk about, albeit just because it's only two games, but still have some nice contests. On these slates, it's obviously easier to hit the top, like the optimal, but you're probably going to be tying with a lot of people. So just depending on how you go about building your lineup, if you want to leave some salary left over, that's going to help it be more unique. If you want to play like a very risky player, you can do that. But overall, I think I just try to make the best lineup I can, and if I tie with a lot of people, then so be it. But let's get into it. As always, appreciate it, hit the like button on the video and subscribe if you have not already. The only injury news really is going to be the question of Kristaps Porzingis game time decision. Luka should be in, and then Gary Harris is questionable, but I don't know if he's going to play. I mean, I don't think he's going to play, and even if he happens to suit up, he shouldn't see many minutes. I don't think he hasn't played in like months. So yeah, starting off at point guard, Luka is still the best play, especially if Porzingis gets ruled out. And Porzingis is a game time decision. This is the second game of the night, so there's a chance we don't know if he's going to play by the time the first game locks. So everybody's going to want to have Luka at least in case Porzingis is out, and then he could like maybe pivot off if you're not feeling him, but still like Luka either way. I mean, how can he not like him? He's just such a good player. 40 plus point triple double last game. Obviously, everybody saw that shot. That was amazing. But he's probably the best spend up on the slate. Donovan Mitchell, I don't mind playing him, and that's pretty surprising because I have not really been on him this series just because he's a volume shooter and a volume scorer. But watching the games, the Nuggets have no answer for him. Second time in 4 games he dropped 50, and then the other 2 games were blowouts, so he didn't even have to do much. But this is a guy that's playing like 38 plus minutes in close games. He has the ball in his hands every time he wants the ball in his hands, he has it. He's been pretty impressive with the assists at least, 7 assists in 3 out of 4 games. Get a handful of rebounds, not really that much, but shooting guard is pretty weak on Draftkings today. You have Donovan Mitchell at the top, and then it drops off to like Hardaway and Lou Williams. So I think it doesn't hurt to pay up for Donovan Mitchell as shooting guard. Just make sure you get that position right. Lou Williams is 64. I like him a decent amount, but I think it might be really popular today because people see a 50-point game. Yeah, 36 real life points, but Paul George should step up at some point this series, and that's going to take away from some of the other scores. The guy that I have right now, point guard, is like Monty Morris, who's 4K. He's going to be starting again, probably, just because at least they didn't get blown out by 40 points when he started. Played 36 minutes, didn't shoot the ball well, but if he's going to get 36 minutes, he's going to be one of the better value plays on the slate, and there's not a lot of value right now, so definitely like Monty Morris at point guard. At shooting guard, like, there's Donovan Mitchell, who I like, Lou Williams, Hardaway, and then there's not a lot. Like, I guess you could look at Seth Curry. He would be an okay option at 46, and then there's nobody else. There's like 4 options at shooting guard, so I'll play Donovan Mitchell just because there are some value plays that I like at center and small forward, and even power forward. There's some value. Small forward, you have Luka, you have Kawhi. This position is loaded. Luka, Kawhi, George. I was hoping that George would be like shooting guard eligible, but he's just small forward, just like Kawhi. I'm not interested in Michael Porter just because he's not really getting the minutes anymore. Mike Malone hates him because he doesn't think he can play defense, and the Jazz are attacking Michael Porter whenever he is in the game on defense. So I don't think you'll see that many minutes in a must-win game. They're gonna want to. Mike Malone is definitely going to want to prioritize his defense, so probably going to see a lot of minutes for Jeremy Grant again. Paul Millsap will probably see similar run, but it's hard not to play Luka Doncic. Gives a huge upside, 11K. You can play him at point guard too if you want, but just going to play like 40 minutes probably if this game is remotely close. Nobody has as much upside as he does. Power forward, I think this position you go cheap at just because there's like nobody to pay up for. I like Millsap. I like Grant. I like Kleber, especially if Porzingis sits, or Kleba. And then I think you could look at Dorian Finney-Smith, but he's like my fourth option. But the guy that I like the most is probably Jeremy Grant, just because he's going to see like 35, 36 minutes. He's a decent all-around player. He gets you points, gets you rebounds. He was in foul trouble last game and still played 36 minutes. Ended up fouling out. But overall, he's a guy that on the season is averaging not like great in terms of point per minute production, but we've seen him have pretty big games when he does get the minutes, and he also can get it done with the blocks and steals. So Grant at 47 at a very weak power forward position, I think looks fine. At center, if you're not going up for Jokic, I think you can go down for a Zubac or a Kleba, or take the ultimate pivot and hope that Porzingis sits and play Boban at 38. Right now, I think I like Zubac more than Harrell. Harrell's just not really getting the minutes. And last game they closed small with Morris at the 5. So Zubac, even he might not get a lot of minutes, but at least he'll probably see like 25 or like 20 to 25, a potential to get up to 30, depending on how he's playing if the game doesn't go small. And if Porzingis is in, then they're gonna need Zubac's size. The Mavs also, played pretty small last game. They didn't have many lineups with. They had a lot of lineups with Kleba at the 5, and then at the 4 they played small. So if Kleba and Porzingis both start, then Zubac's minutes will probably be more secure. But either way, I think Zubac is a decent value play at just 4,300. And then at point guard, Mike Conley I like at 67. He's been playing great. He's been shooting the ball really well since he's come back into the bubble. 2 games, he's shooting well over 60% from the floor. He has a lot of opportunities with the Nuggets focusing on stopping Mitchell a lot of the time, even though they've been failing at that. So probably see good minutes for Conley. Only played 32, which was pretty low. But overall, in a close game, I think he'll probably see like 32 to 35 minutes, maybe more than that, just because he has been playing well, and I think he can continue that today in a closeout game. So these are the 6 that I like, a decent amount on Draftkings. Let's jump over to Fanduel. All right, over on Fanduel, point guard you have Jamal Murray at 78, then Conley. Those are the 2 best spend ups. I think could go with either one. Murray's probably going to get a lot of ownership after his 50-point game outing last time out. Conley 65, I like that a decent amount. But the probably guy that I like a lot is Monty Morris at just 4K. Obviously doesn't have as much upside as like a Murray or a Conley, but I think if we play him 30 plus minutes, he can, get you like around 30 fantasy points. About like the highest ceiling you'll probably have is like 30, maybe 35 fantasy points. But at just 4K, will allow you to spend up at some other positions like shooting guard. Definitely want to pay up at shooting guard for Doncic or Mitchell. Even Paul George, I guess you could do that because his price tag keeps going down to 75. And there's not that many cheap options at shooting guard, so definitely going to pay up at shooting guard for like a Luka Doncic. Small forward, there's 4 legitimate options, so this position is going to have so much overlap. It's Kawhi, Hardaway, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Joe Ingles. And Ingles has been non-existent since Conley's been back, so basically 3 options. And everybody's going to have Kawhi. It's just how you do not have him. He can have like double the amount of fantasy points as the next small forward. So very tough fade. Power forward, Porzingis probably won't get that much ownership at all if we don't know if he's playing us by the time the game locks. So that could be a way that you can get some leverage, I guess. But third position is pretty deep with some value. Jeremy Grant, Maxi Kleba, Morris, Millsap, all decent options. I think Grant is still one of the guys that I like, especially on FanDuel. You get those extra points for blocks and steals, and he's shown that upside in the past. Then at center, Jokic looks great, and I don't know why Harrell is more expensive than Zubac. He just hasn't been getting the minutes this series. I go with Zubac, and then if Porzingis happens to sit instead of Zubac, you can easily pivot to Boban and hope that Maxi Kleba gets in a foul trouble, or even play Kleba and Boban because they're going to play like all the 5 minutes. But you can definitely play Boban. He's shown the ability. Even if he gets like 15 minutes, he can have 30 fantasy points. So that's pretty much it for the video. Only 2 games, not that much to talk about. We have a 3-gamer tomorrow, so that will be a little bit more interesting. But overall, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and good luck tonight.